So, welcome to Dirt Hub's All British Motocross podcast with myself, Paul Ooten, and a very croaky Ben Rumbold. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Paul, how's it going? Hi, everyone.
God, that sounds a lot better than you did just a minute ago. He's brave.
It's
He's brave in it.
the pressure of the broadcast, maybe.
Cool. Well, Ben, as a lot of you probably heard, was commentating at Canada Heights. It's taken its toll on you. Was it obviously that exciting? Were you getting super excited?
I guess so. I mean, I did 2 days AMCA Championship and had no problems like this, so maybe I was just going for it with the racing as it was. But MX2 in particular was pretty crazy. So yeah, I do remember shouting at Oriol Oliver with his crash with Jake. But yeah, that was pretty special. So yeah, I think there was an underlying problem. This is not going to happen normally, I hope, for any prospective employers.
Yeah, well, you got a busy weekend because you don't stop. You got 3 weekends on the trot, haven't you, MXGP wise? So you're an A this weekend.
Yeah,
Just
can't
in
wait.
time, it's pissing down here. It must be a GP weekend coming. I'm absolutely drenched walking the dog. So I'm thinking, yeah, GPs are on the way. But Canada Heights, beautiful sunshine. Track looked amazing. I watched the live stream. Have to say they've done a fabulous job. That's the best live stream we've had, by far. Fair play. That was a really good production. Really enjoyed it. Got to see the racing, and I have to say I do. And I know we always say it and we always like to be positive, but I think the excitement for the British Championship is definitely higher this year. I know we had Hurlings last year, but I think for the championship as a whole, I really do feel, it's going forward and the excitement is there.
Yeah, Canada Heights was buzzing. Really good atmosphere, really good racing all the way through. I mean, MX1 is, yeah, it is missing Hurlings, to be honest, because Conrad just seems to be a level above. Even after an injured wrist, he was still, well up there in the in MX1 category. So good racing behind him, though. Really good scrapping with Brad Todd and John Adamson and that bunch. So that was really cool to watch. But yeah, but MX2 in particular is just a treat. So yeah, but a really good atmosphere. They're doing all they can, and yeah, even then they're not too happy. They were still work in progress behind the scenes. So yeah, little bits and pieces. I think they're trying to improve. So if it's as good now, then it can only get better. They say so. That's great news.
And I think that's the thing with the Owens, they never settle. They're always working, always innovating. And I think I don't think people quite understand how much hard work Neil Irwin has done on this live stream since obviously, he brought it to the fore with the MX Nationals and during COVID times, and he has not stopped working on this. He's been through a few different crews, a few different people. But you know what? He has not stopped. And yeah, it's got to be a lot of credit where credit's due because I really enjoyed it Sunday.
Yeah, he really does. Having personal experience and worked on live stream with him at the British Championship and also at VMXDN, he is always on it. He's making sure that, we get the sponsors sorted out, we look after them, make sure that my levels on the microphone are correct. Everything that he can do to improve it, he doesn't leave it alone. And to be fair to him, he's no spring chicken. And at his age, to be pushing like he does for that live stream is pretty impressive. So, yeah, he works really hard on it. And it's started to show as well because obviously I was trackside. I didn't get to watch it because the signal was delayed. So I didn't want that sort of problem. But yeah, watching it back in the week, yeah, really good graphics, really good coverage. So, yeah, can't help but be impressed, which is great. That's what we want.
Yeah. And talking about being impressed, like you said, Conrad, predicted, everybody predicted that. But I think, we hinted an injury that we'd heard about in our previous show. But the emotion that Conrad showed of winning, I think was not what we expected. Obviously, great interview by Edward Heather. Done a great job of our interviews this week. And Conrad was, I think he surprised himself. I think this win meant a lot to him. It really did, because I think he's been struggling. And again, we said on the previous show, he rode in Scotland, it wasn't big wins at all. But the fact he's come here and won two quite convincingly, really, I think he surprised himself, to be fair. So, yeah, maybe not unexpected in terms of the results, but from what Conrad has been through, I think he's very, very happy to get that 1-1 on the board.
Yeah, he was. He took his time. Took his time in qualifying to get a good lap in. He built up to it. I was like, okay, he's not going flat out to dominate here. He took his time, put a really good one in, and then put in another one. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, the speed is there, but there was something holding him back. In reflection, you can see why. But yeah, they're just unstoppable in the races. Pretty daunting for anybody who wants to take that crown off him, to be fair.
Yeah, and obviously we do know that Hurlins is going to be making some of the rounds. Hopefully we have a fit Conrad and a fit Jeffrey, which will be unreal. Second, then Adam Sterry, a solid second there. He was, that notch up above Josh. In this one, Josh, in your post race show, said he has had a bit of a thumb injury and did struggle with arm pump. But I think again, Adam and Josh, the predicted 1, 2, 3 really. We had slightly different orders, but yeah, I don't think there's anything unsurprising about who made the podium.
No, for sure. I mean, Josh was looking a little bit better, but yeah, he made a mistake, and he said he said on my thing he didn't know how he didn't crash. But yeah, it's he probably would have been disappointed with that. Adam was just rock solid, no issues at all. And those three at the moment are a class above. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But Taylor Hamill was good on his return, and with better starts, he might have a chance of breaking that top three. And then we'll see how everyone else can do. But Adamson and Todd wiped themselves out at the start of race one. They had an entertaining race through the pack. But yeah, in terms of the podium, those three guys are at the moment head and shoulders above. But we'll see. Taylor Hamill was determined, looked strong. So it'd be good if he can join those three guys, or at least two of those three guys.
Now I'm a bit of a lap time geek, as you know. Now,
Yes.
one rider, right? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, the three riders, so Mira, Adamson, and Brad Todd. Now, I was watching their lap times within the probably the last third, maybe a bit more, just after halfway through the race. And their lap times consistently. So and Jamie Carpenter was in there as well, but Mira was quite impressive. But some of their lap times at that period of the race were better than Sterry's for quite a period of the time. So there's, I have to say that if some of these guys can make that start and probably get a bit of a toe from Conrad, you could see, one of those riders mentioned there getting in amongst it. But like I said, the start is going to be so crucial for that.
Yeah, the start and also that first race pace, that intensity. That's what Sterry and Gilbert can bring to it, which of course is a product of constantly pushing in GPs. So yeah, that's the difference there, because yeah, they can then control the race from there. They're not going to push their brains out to catch Conrad. It's not going to happen. So they can control it nicely from there. And then the other guys are playing catch up. So it's getting that start and the first few laps intensity that is the key for those other riders to break into Sterry and Gilbert.
Yeah, for sure. And, fourth place then. So Jamie Carpenter, exactly what the Crendon team wanted from Jamie Carpenter, back up Conrad, fourth, fifth, sixth every round, and he sits fourth in the championship. So, a really good round for Jamie. I know they, watching the pit boards and that, they will really pushing Jamie on to try and bridge the gap in the second motor and try and get another position. But, fourth overall, I think, yeah, team and rider very happy with that. Tristan Purdon, fifth. Yeah, Tristan, again, two solid motors from him. Yeah, I think he might be frustrated a little bit from his second race.
Yeah, I think so.
really good. Jason Mira, sixth overall. Like I said, I've been so impressed with Jason Mira this year. Yeah, he looks the real deal. He's really seemed to bridge that gap into that next batch of riders now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is on a pace there with likes of Taylor and Jamie. And with a good start like he got at Ling last year, he could be a podium man. So yeah, he's not one to give up without fight either. He's good in the scrap as Jason. He's entertaining to watch.
Yeah, and result wise, just looking at it, the difference between fourth with Jamie Carpenter and 12th Chris Mills is 10 points. A lot of these riders had good motos and bad motos. John Adamson being one who come down early in the first
Yeah,
moto was a little bit critical of the track in his interview with Ed, just saying that they closed up some of the passing lines with some of the amendments they made to the track. But his second race was really good. He said it was boring, his second race. But you know what? If you can get a nice solid fourth in a boring race, you're going to take that, and you.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was passing was difficult. There's no doubt about it. Um, it's a tricky circuit. It's technical. Um, the track crew did really well to make it rideable, not too dusty, not too slick, and yeah, that was just a bit of a challenge, really. So yeah, it is what it is. Most motocross tracks can be like that if conditions allow it. So yeah, I don't think there's any real issue with the track from that side. It's just a case of yeah, you got to be creative to try and get past, and well, that separates the men from the boys.
Yeah, it's eighth position then Carlton Husband on the Fantic. Then that was two solid motos there
Yeah,
for
he did well.
Carlton Husband. And again, he's been pitching in, unspectacular really, Carlton, but he sits in ninth in the championship, and yeah, just scoring points every moto really, and you know in a championship with riders up and down, that could really bode well. We could actually nudge up even further if he continues on, racking up the points.
Yeah, Chris Mills also rode really well, holding fourth for most of race one. And then, yeah, the guys just came through there, Hamill, Purden and Carpenter. Yeah, Chris was a good performer. And as he said, he's going to be blitzing the sand tracks in preparation for Blacksall. So that'd be interesting to see what he can do. But yeah, and Carl Husband had good starts and held on for most of it. Yeah, that's as good as I've seen him do on a 450 so far.
Yeah, Brad Todd, very similar to John Adamson, really. I don't know if they went down in the same crash, but they seem to be joined at the hip in Moto 1 and Moto 2. To be fair, they seem to be coming through the pack together in the first race, and then they were very close the whole way through Moto 2. So Brad Todd was 10th, Martin
Yeah,
Barr 11th there. He said in the Pico on the press release that he just really struggled for starts.
yeah, that's it. I saw Adamson pass Brad Todd in race one when they were down the pack. And he came across him in the Nichols corner, we're going to call it. He came across him there and put a sweet move on Brad. And yeah, Brad didn't really have much answer for him after that. So it was a good move. So John found a way to pass Brad Todd anyway.
Yeah, so then we had Martin Barr 11th, Chris Mills 12th, who we just spoke about. Josh Spinks, then, a rider that's been riding in, the Acerbish Nationals and, Bridgestone and stuff like that. So not really riding full-time pro motocross to come in and get the results he did for 13th overall on the Triumph then was an impressive result for Josh.
Yeah, yeah, he was putting it up there. It was really good to see. Obviously battling in amongst with Dan Thornhill, Ben Edwards. Yeah, he was up there, especially in the second race. He was a bit higher up initially, but yeah, sadly faded back. But yeah, it was good to see Josh out there and yeah, showing what the 450 Triumph can do. Although sadly Joel Ritchie had a rough one. He looked very quick. He was fourth in qualifying. Was Ritchie. So we thought, okay, he's starting to break through here. Race winner there in MX2 the previous year. But yeah, and he was challenging for third place early on, I think, third or fourth. He was challenging for fourth. But then he couldn't get his way past Chris Mills and then got swallowed up. But he was jabbing at the gear lever when he went across the finish line. So he dropped to 9th at the close, but I think there was an issue with gear selection for Joel because he was stabbing at that and looking very frustrated. And then, of course, he crashed out of race 2, which was a real shame. Maybe machine problems for Joel. Who knows?
Yeah, I was saying, I think he said he got knocked out, didn't he? On his socials then in that second race. But yeah, he's just a rider that's just not had any luck at all this year. But
He's going through it.
he's gone through it. But you know what? Sometimes this happens. The pressure is now off Joel. You know what I mean? Like for the rest of. So I'm just looking at lost his rear brake and has sewn in his goggles in Moto 1.
Nice
And
break.
race 2, a rider pushed him wide into a drainage ditch, and he was out cold. Yeah. So, but like I said, the pressure's off now a little bit. So I feel now he will fly under the radar, and I think he's just going to build. And by the end of the season, I think he could well be a rider that pushes for a podium.
Yeah, fingers crossed. He certainly showed he's still got the pace. That lap in practice was very good.
Cool. So that's pretty much MX1. Prediction wise, so I've done a little points thing, right? So if we got a result right, so this was our top 5 predictions from the preview show. If we got a result right, we get 2 points. And if the rider we predicted was in the top 5, then we get 1. So we both got Comrade right.
Yep.
But I have to say, I got Adam and Josh round the right way, whereas you got them round the other way. You got John Adamson in 4th and Joel Rizzi in 5th, so you didn't get any points for that. I got Taylor in 4th, but I did get Tristan Purdon in 5th. So MX1, you got 4 points and I got 8.
Wow. That's a pasting.
As a pasting. But that's just MX1. Got 2 more classes to come, mate.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So, on that note, MX2, it's just shaping up fantastically like we thought it would, to be honest. MX2 is just such a good class. And yeah, it's just exciting, isn't it? All the way through. There's just so much going on. So much drama. And there wasn't there? So much drama.
Yeah, there really was. Yeah.
One rider to escape it really was Tommy Searle. He did seem to escape the drama. He took Motor 1 race win, although the race was cut short. Just literally, 10 seconds after the whole halfway mark, it was red flagged. And he was leading the race, but Guy Dunson from the Gabriel SS24 KTM team was right there. It seemed to have a little bit more pace. And I think that would have been a battle of the rage for the rest of the moto. So, but Tommy Searle did take the win in that one. And then in the second moto, then he got into a nice he was third, wasn't he, behind Billy, reeled Billy in. As Billy said in his interview, Tommy did a whip in front of him and consolidated that second place to take the overall win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a shame for the red flag. I thought that Dunson was building somewhat. He was really getting his confidence up and started to look like he was bothering the back wheel of Tommy. So, that could have been interesting there. And Bobby Bruce wasn't too far behind either. So, that could have been very interesting had it gone the full distance. We hope, by the way, that the marshal who got hit is okay, because apparently a marshal got hit by a bike, and that was the issue that stopped the race. So we hope that he's okay. Send our best wishes to him. But yeah, Tommy, like I said in the, I'm going to take my credit here. Like I said in the preview show, Tommy did what was necessary. Got a good start, held on, and then to reel in and past Billy was impressive. So that was very good. Oriol Oliver had a welcome to the British Championship scenario, which I guess we're going to come to.
Yeah, and on that front, so obviously Guyan then didn't quite have the time then to get Tommy, but the Gabriel SS24 KTM team, I've just put their PR out. Obviously, Sean Simpson tearing his hair out really, because so much potential within that team this year, both in EMX and the British. But Guyan's interview with Ed as well, like I don't know how many times he said the word frustrated, but and Sean in the PR as well. That is a frustrated team because speed is not the problem with Oriel or Guyan, but stringing two race results together just seems to be such a big issue for them at the moment. And yeah,
Yeah.
you can just, with every interview done by any of their riders, every PR that comes from out from the team, you can just feel that frustration.
Yeah, I mean, Sean himself said they were kind of spoilt with Cass last year. He was such a solid performer. And the riders, each of his riders topped the qualifying groups. Yeah, Group A was Gian and Group B was Oriol. So there was no issue for pace at all. Oriol just had a rough start in race one, and then, like I say, most people will have seen the crash with Jake Nichols. Well, what you might not have seen was that the lap before that, Oriol fell over the back wheel of Ben Musto while he was trying to move up into third or fourth. So he fell over the back wheel of Ben coming out of that same corner one lap. The next lap, he had the collision with Jake Nichols. And the lap after that, he also collided with Liam Garland and nearly fell again in the same corner. So a big shake of the head, big sign of, frustration was the key word. And he ended up finishing 17th. He never had a chance to recover because of the red flag. So, a real shame for Oriol. I blame him for blowing my voice, by the way. But and Guillaume just didn't get the start in race two, and took a long time to get past one of the Huskies. I think it was Charlie Heyman. In fact, he didn't get past Heyman. Heyman finished in front of him. But there was one rider he couldn't get past, maybe Stephen Clark, and he really took his time to get past that. Oh no, Josh Vale. That's what it was. He was stuck behind Josh Vale, couldn't pass him. So Josh had a whole shot, which was great. And so Josh was riding well, but Guillaume Davidson couldn't make his way around, and that really scuppered his chances of going any higher, and cost him the podium because he was only 1 point off of Bobby Bruce and closing in on the two riders in front. But he needed to pass two people to get onto the podium, and he just ran out of time. So that was the big problem there for Guillaume, just couldn't make the passes.
Yeah, because going over the line, there's literally he was right behind two riders, wasn't he?
He was catching them. It was on. Like I was tracking it to try and keep track of the points and tell people what was happening with the podium. And I could see that Bobby was in a good position, but not going to move forward. In fact, Bobby moved backwards. I think in the end, Jack Nichols passed him. But I mean, it was just one of those days again for Sean's team. But Oriel's win was as class as you would have expected. So he's still going to be a threat for the rest of the year. But whether or not he's going to be able to catch up the gap in the points because he missed the opening round as well, that now looks very difficult.
Talking about the gap in the points then, so making it nice and round, Gian Dunson is 30 points off of Tommy Searle, who's got the red plate, and Oriel is 60 points off of Tommy Searle.
Yeah, yeah,
10
yeah.
10 points around Oriel's got a real Tommy in, and let's be fair, Tommy is looking bloody good.
In 12 races, like you say, with as consistent as Searle is being, that's going to be very tough. But the biggest challenge for Tommy might be his teammate, perhaps.
Yeah, so talking to his teammate, Billy Askew, second overall, really happy with his day. He did say he had a few shock issues in the second moto and he didn't want to push too hard. But he was very complimentary of his mentor then, Tommy Searle, who just, like I said, rode a great race. Bobby Bruce, third overall. You know what? Yeah, I think, after what he's been through in the EMX rounds, I think a podium was a great result for Bobby. And yeah, he's 6 points off of Tommy. I think this is sort of a little bit of a regroup for Bobby. Hopefully he can come and get a good result this weekend in France and start to sort of build back up because, I think he's a little bit low on confidence. And I think to be a championship contender, he just needs a couple more results under his belt, get that belief back, and I think then he will be back on top.
Yeah, for sure. Ernay, that's prime hard pack. Hopefully it'll be dry and it'll be very similar to Canada Heights, or at least the top bar of that track. So as always, I'll be trackside tuning on Bobby very quietly.
Gonna be quiet now, aren't you? For sure. Ben Musto, mate, fifth position. You predicted that, by the way. Fair play to Ben, because so in his interview with Ed, which is really good actually, Ben has got yesterday. I think he had an exam yesterday. Like, Ben is studying at school. So for him to get the positions he's getting overall, he's fourth in the championship standings. Very under the radar rider, but he's had two fantastic results. And you look at who's around him. These, you've got Tommy Searle, then you've got Bobby this is in the standings. Tommy Searle, Bobby Bruce, Billy Askew, and Guy Dunson, around him in the championship. These are guys that are riding full time, EMX, racing each and every week. And Ben is at school doing exams. That is impressive, mate. There's, like I said, an underplayed rider really, but these results from Ben Musto have been exceptional.
Yeah, absolutely. And a team that is now based entirely around him as well. Not with a big budget or going big full time as they did before. So for Ben to be right up there is fantastic. And I think he really has proven himself to be worthy. He just digs in. He's just got that terrier underdog, almost Cooper Webb style mindset. Gets a good start and gets out there. I mean, his results now so far in the 4 races: 4th, 7th, 6th, and 5th. That's super consistent. Exactly what you need in comparison with Dunson, 3rd, 17th, 2nd, 8th. It's just that consistency that Ben's been able to deliver that keeps himself up there. And he puts it to him. He lays the glove down and says, "You got to pass me," and not that many people do. So yeah, it's been very good to see Ben, and hopefully he'll mature into a really good rider. And I hope he does do a MX 250, because I think with his starts and the way he can hold the pace, Ben is the sort that would get into EMX 250 and do very, very well. So I hope that somebody gets the budget in a bike to enable Ben to do that, because I think he's got real promise.
Yeah, that would be great to see, wouldn't it? For sure. Then just moving down the order, then we've got Charlie Heyman, 2 consistent rides from him, like he did in round 1 at Hawkston. So Charlie, like we said before, just needs to maybe to hang it loose a little bit, just to edge that little bit closer to the podium riders. 8th place, Brad Anderson on a YZ 250.
That's crazy. That is crazy. He rode so well as well. He really did push on. It was it was pretty unreal for a 43-year-old.
Yeah, on an old bike, which he will be riding the YZ 250 at VMXDN as well. 9th position, Ollie Colmer. Little bit, I think starts look like it hampered Ollie. Because I think he's definitely got the speed to be higher than that. Glenn McCormack, we said about Glenn, he's had a good year. 2 solid motors again from him. Jake Nichols in 11th. Then Jake obviously had an issue in the first moto. Well, watch the video. I think Summit Moto caught it a peach. Then
He put it perfect. Yeah, I saw it in real time, and it was like, to me, it looked like Jake made the mistake, and I think Oliver was trying to make a run on him, and Jake came across. So let's face it, most of the other riders in that class would have taken that corner a million times and knew what might have happened. Oriol had only just seen the track that morning, so he wasn't aware of just how savage that corner can be. But yeah, Nichols lost his rag, which was quite funny. In fact, in the pits, one of the funniest things I've seen. I saw Jake just after I finished my video, sadly, but as Josh Gilbert was driving out, he poked his head out the window and said, "You're right, all right, Jake." And Jake, first thing Jake said is, "You're right, want to fight?" So he was enjoying it, and obviously, they spoke about it afterwards, and all was cool. But it proves he's still got the fight, doesn't it?
yeah, but he said he was on it. He's off day off from work. He could do without it. That's what he said. Yeah, he's just trying to have a day's chill out on the track, and ends up with that. But yeah, really good interview. Another one. Fair play to Ed. Just a big shout out to Ed, because he did some cracking interviews from the weekend. So yeah, check that one out on our YouTube channel there. And it's on as a podcast as well, all the post race interviews from Ed. Jake did have a cracking second moto as well. He really did work up passed quite a few
Well,
riders then as well.
Nichols was on fire. Yeah, he was really riding well. I mean, that's the experience. You know, a lot of riders complaining about how tough it is to pass, but Jake just finds the lines and did what was necessary. So, yeah, he really did show that it could be done. And what a great ride, fourth place. Can't fault the old geezer.
Yeah, the old geezer. Moving on to a young geezer, Josh Farrell, like you said, second motor whole shot. Yeah, fair play to Josh. That will do his confidence the world of good. Two solid results, which I think is what he needed. You know, the injury at the start of the year. So to consolidate with two good results, yeah, I think Josh will be really happy with that. And yeah, doing it for the Fantics. Another rider doing it for the Fantics. In 13th, Rafe Broadley. Fair play, a cracking first motor from Rafe. Yeah, you know, doing a local lad, and to the round that way, so that would have gone down
So,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, I'll just go to 14th. Then Callum Mitchell, I seen him get involved in a clash. I think it's definitely the second motor. He's right at the back. Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
seemed to have a good weekend really.
He was stuck at the start line at the beginning of race one as well. He
Oh
was left
wow,
on the line as the gate dropped. He was left on his own. So yeah, to come back right from where he from that to be 14th, then yeah, that was a lot of fighting because it was a full track. So, but yeah, he was stuck on the start line in race one.
cool. And I'll just say Lennox Dickinson 15th. Stephen Clark had a good second moto too. So prediction wise, obviously, Oriel was both our number one pick, so 0 each for that. Tommy Searle, you had a second, so you got 1 point for that. I had Billy Askew, so I had 2 points. Then we got you got a point for Billy Askew in third. I got one for Tommy in third. We both got Bobby Brewster's fourth, but where
Yeah.
you picked up, yeah, Ben Musto in fifth, 2 points. I had Ollie Colmer. So MX2, mate, you clawed a point back, 5-4.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, all to play for. 1-2-5s, mate. All to play for.
Oh yeah, here we go then. Yeah.
Here we go. So 1-2-5s. Yeah, you know, the question marks was in the 1-2-5 class about Jamie Keith coming back from double broken collarbones. Coming in yeah, you know, sort of a wounded animal really. But yeah, he rode phenomenal. But the first moto, to be fair, Charlie Richmond was looking really good. And I'll tell you what, he made Jamie Keith really work for it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, Charlie was fastest in qualifying at Hawkstone, and right up until the end of the session, he was in front of Jamie Keith as well. But yeah, Charlie was looking quick. He likes a bit hard packed as Charlie Richmond, and yeah, he really did ride fantastically well. Made Jamie work for it for sure.
Yeah, so Jamie Keith went 1-1, Charlie Richmond 2-2, Ryan Waggett round one winner. Then he had a fourth and a third. Ryan looked good. He was right at the front in Moto 1 when he come off, didn't he?
He did, yeah, it was right up there, and then yeah, he had a crash which dropped him back, but he recovered well to fourth. To be fair to him, did really
Yeah.
well.
And then Drew Stock tied with him on 38 points, but Ryan got the podium then on the count back with Hayden Stat in fifth. Some other good performances then. Harry Lee in sixth, Christopher Brindley seventh, Lewis Spratt eighth, Jack Evans, good ride by Jack Evans in ninth, and Lucas Moncrief 10th.
Yeah.
Prediction wise, mate, because I know your voice is struggling there. Go straight in. So I did actually have faith with Jamie Keith. So I got 2 points on Jamie Keith. You went with Hayden Stats, you got a point for that. I got Ryan Waggett in second. You had Jamie Keith in second, 1 point each. But you had Ryan Waggett in third, 2 points for you. I had Charlie Richmond. And then you had Drew Stock in fourth. So you got 2 points for that. I had Hayden Stat. And then Charlie Richmond, you had him fifth. I had Drew Stock in fifth. So you actually won the 1-2-5-7-6. But the total, mate, I did take the win, 18-16.
Oh dear. Well, if the fourth is to shout, then I'm stuffed.
Well, should we just keep it going? We'll keep it rolling. Yeah, we didn't do it right, did we? we did the championship. So
Yeah.
the Hawkston one won't count. Maybe the championship ones count for double at the end.
Oh, I like that. I like that
Yeah,
a lot. Okay.
do that
Yeah,
one.
good stuff. Good stuff.
Cool. So a slightly less busy weekend this weekend for British Motocross because the MX Master Kids has been cancelled. A lot of talk about that one. That's a bit of a nightmare. I feel really bad for the organisers. A Service Amateur National has been cancelled too. That is a big blow as well through lack of entry. So not a good weekend for that. But what is on this weekend? That means all those guys that aren't racing should go to Foxhill this weekend because it is the World Sidecar Cross Championship, then British GP, and a round of the EMX Quad Cross Championship. So we've got Brett Wilkinson and Joe Miller, big hopes for the Brits, although you can't count out the wily veteran Stuart Brown in the sidecars. That is going to be epic at Vauxhalls. In the quads, Harry Walker, then last year's EMX Quad Cross champion, second at round one. Then he is going for back-to-back titles. I'm telling you what, the quads and sidecars at Foxhill is going to be unreal.
I can't imagine those things around there. I just can't. I can't picture it. I can't see how that's going to work. But wow, they said they've done it, and obviously, there's been a lot of work going onto the track. But yeah, around there in a sidecar, that's going to be spectacular for sure.
It will be. So you're going to be in France for the GP. So look forward to feedback on that one. But we will get going now because I know you've got to rest your voice, and I've got loads more to do, loads more race reports to put up and stuff like that.
There's a lot of EMX 125 riders as well, wild cards, Charlie Richmond, Lucas Moncrief, as well as Hayden Statt, and of course, Jamie Keith and Drew Stock. So best of luck to all the 125 riders that are in there from the Brits. Go the Brits.
Cool. And an EMX 250. So we will see you for another All British Motocross podcast soon.